Hey guys, it's Brad here, and this is the behind the scenes video of my most recent video, the best Christmas gift I ever gave myself. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I took a stock system and customized it to fit me perfectly. So let's get into it. So this is the stock system. Is a Zero Zen Neo that has been custom colored. And now I'm going to take this and make it my own. So first of all, we're going to remove this current system with the C22 remover. I'm going to start by spraying it around the head and let it penetrate through the lace. So I'm going to put this to one side and I'll clean this up later. Next, I'm going to prep the base with the reset. I'm also going to use the reset on my scalp. So I'm going to let this sit for 5 minutes and then I'm going to rinse thoroughly both the system and my scalp. And then we'll get into making the template. So we have cleansed the base and my scalp with the reset from Lord Hair. And next we're going to take the renewal and we're going to apply this to the hair system and comb through, trying to keep it off of the lace as much as possible. And while this is soaking in, I'm going to make my template. So I'm now going to let this sit and soak in while I do my template. So the first step of the template is cleaning up the area. So next up, I'm going to use some alcohol just to clean the scalp, and this will just help the template being made. So next, I'm going to take some wig tape and cut it into 2 pieces. I'm going to put a bit at the front and a bit at the back. It can kind of go anywhere. You just want this to help anchor the cling film into place. So next we're going to take some cling film and try to get it as wide as our reach. Next we're going to connect it with the front. That's tape, perfect. And then pull it and connect it with the back. And we want it to be as smooth and connected as possible. So next what we're going to do is take one side and start twisting it away. And we do this all the way down until it is tight. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. Once I've got these 2 bits, I'm going to tie it under my chin. And now this is anchored into place. Next, I'm going to get my marker and I'll put a dot there, kind of a dot there, a dot there, a dot there. I like to do that on both sides so I know where this is. Next, we're going to take our tape and start layering it over. To anchor it in, I like to take this gaffer tape and do a sort of cross across the top. Perfect. So that is the template made. So now the template has been made, I'm going to rinse the renewal from the hair system. So we've left the system to kind of partially dry on the mannequin head, and I've combed it all back so it's away from the hairline. And next I'm going to trim off the hairline part. So I'm just going to go around with my scissors. Now we've done that, I'm going to flip this over, line it up so it's nice and square. So we're going to get the front peak at the front and the back directly at the back. Two sides anchored in. Then we're going to take our dryer and dry. So next we're going to take our template, we're going to anchor the template in, making sure we're kind of as even as can be. Then I'm going to take my chalk pen and just go around the system and the template. The chalk marking around the system. So I'm going to cut this out, and this should match my head shape. So next I'm going to take my scalpel and I'm just going to go in and gently cut this out down that line. So this is the finished result. So next I'm going to clean it up with some alcohol, get rid of all the chalk, diffuse it a bit more, tape it up and install. So next I'm going to use some alcohol just to get rid of the chalky white line and clean up any oils that might have transferred onto the system. And this is just going to make it much easier for the tapes to adhere to. So now I'm going to dry this in. I'm going to start taping up with my extender bond. So next I'm going to get into the install, and I'm going to use some alcohol just to prep my skin. And then I'm going to put a white dot where I want the system to be. So I'm going to put a white dot with my chalk marker, and it's going to go underneath where I want the system to go. So the system tends to follow my scalp tattoo, but I'm going to put this dot just under it. So when I see this dot, I know to aim above it. If you put the dot too high where you want it to go, you end up putting it like an inch above. So I always go below where I want it to sit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the system and get it all lined up ready to install. And I like to do it in one swoop. So it can get a little bit tricky. So once I've lined it up, I like to look for that dot. I place it just above the dot in the center, and then I wiggle and secure in the temples. Once I've secured in the temples, I start to wiggle the system back, securing it side by side, left to right. And this just ensures that I can maintain some control over the system. I'm also using my fingers to keep the hair out of the system and getting stuck between the system and my scalp. So it just makes for better adhesion to the skin. Once I've got it all locked in and secure, I'll put some pressure onto the tapes just to ensure that they stick to the scalp. And then I'll remove the little white dot that I placed to install it properly. Next, I'm going to go to the barbers and I'll get it cut into a style, and then I'll show you the finished result once I am back and the style has been cut and styled. Here is the finished result. So this has been cut. It's kind of a sort of mod rockabilly kind of style. I've styled it into place using some hairspray and blow drying it, but I absolutely love this look. I love this sun-kissed balayage. It just adds like a new dimension to the hair and makes it feel very much summery and like me, which I needed in these winter months.